A week before her wedding, Olivia Hart discovered two secrets that shattered her entire world. The first was growing quietly inside her, a baby she couldn't wait to tell her fiancé about. The second was hiding behind a half-closed office door, laughing with the woman she trusted more than anyone else. By the time the wedding day arrived, one of them would lose everything: their reputation, their future, their carefully built lives. And it wouldn't be Olivia. Before we continue, tell me in the comments, if you discovered your fiancé and your best friend had betrayed you just days before your wedding, would you walk away quietly or expose them in front of everyone? And if you enjoy stories filled with shocking betrayals, powerful revenge, and unforgettable endings, subscribe now, because this story only gets more unbelievable from here. 6 days before the wedding, Olivia Hart stood in front of the floor-length mirror inside the luxury bridal suite and smiled at her reflection. The wedding dress looked even more beautiful than she remembered. Delicate lace wrapped around her figure like artwork. Tiny pearls shimmered beneath the warm vanity lights. The train flowed across the hardwood floor behind her like a river of ivory silk. She turned slightly, admiring every detail. This was it. After years of dreaming about this moment, she was finally here. In 6 days, she would marry Ethan Cole, her fiancé, her best friend, the man she believed she'd spend the rest of her life with. Just thinking about him made her smile. Ethan wasn't perfect, but nobody was. He worked long hours. Sometimes he became distracted by business deals and meetings. Sometimes she wished he opened up emotionally a little more. But he always came back to her. He always knew exactly what to say. He always made her feel chosen, loved, safe. Olivia's smile softened as her hand drifted toward her stomach. Nobody knew yet. Not Ethan, not her parents, not her closest friends. 2 days earlier, she had stared at a positive pregnancy test in complete disbelief. For nearly 10 minutes, she had simply sat on the bathroom floor staring at those 2 pink lines. Then the reality hit her. She was pregnant. She had laughed and cried at the same time. A baby. Their baby. She could still barely believe it. Since then, she had imagined dozens of ways to tell Ethan. Maybe after the wedding, maybe during the honeymoon, maybe during a quiet dinner when they were finally alone. She pictured his reaction constantly, his shocked smile, his eyes widening, his arms wrapping around her as he whispered that they were going to be parents. Ethan had always talked about wanting children someday. Soon that someday would become reality. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Before she could answer, the door opened. "There she is," a cheerful voice announced. Olivia turned immediately and smiled. Samantha Reed stepped into the room carrying 2 glasses of champagne. Her blonde hair was pinned into a casual bun and her face glowed with excitement. Samantha wasn't just Olivia's maid of honor. She was her best friend, her sister in every way except blood. They had known each other for almost 10 years. Through terrible relationships, family problems, career setbacks, and countless late-night conversations, Samantha had always been there. "You look incredible," Samantha said, walking over to admire the dress. "Seriously, Olivia, Ethan is going to completely lose his mind when he sees you." Olivia laughed. "You really think so?" Samantha rolled her eyes dramatically. "Please. You look like you walked straight out of a bridal magazine." Olivia felt warmth spread through her chest. "I just want everything to go perfectly." Samantha handed her a champagne glass. "Trust me, it will." They sat together on the couch near the window overlooking downtown Chicago. The skyline glittered beneath the afternoon sunlight. Everything felt magical. Everything felt right. "I can't believe you're actually getting married," Samantha said. Olivia laughed softly. "Neither can I." "Remember all those losers you dated before Ethan?" Samantha asked. Olivia groaned. "Unfortunately, exactly. And now look at you. You've got the perfect guy." Olivia smiled automatically. The perfect guy, she had believed that completely. Ethan was successful, ambitious, confident. People naturally gravitated toward him. He could walk into any room and command attention without trying. Olivia admired that about him. She always had. "You really love him, don't you?" Samantha asked suddenly. Olivia didn't hesitate. "With everything I have." Samantha smiled. "I know you do." For a moment, something strange flickered across Samantha's face. It disappeared so quickly Olivia barely noticed it. Then Samantha smiled again, and the moment passed. Later that evening, after Samantha left, Olivia returned to the penthouse apartment she shared with Ethan. The wedding was only 6 days away, and preparations had consumed nearly every hour of their lives. Yet somehow she felt happier than ever. She spent the evening organizing final details and answering messages from family members. Ethan was working inside his office as usual. Around 11:30, Olivia climbed into bed. She expected sleep to come easily. Instead, her mind refused to shut off. Excitement buzzed through her veins. Thoughts of the wedding, thoughts of the baby, thoughts of their future. After nearly an hour of tossing and turning, she finally sat up. Maybe some water would help. Wrapping a silk robe around herself, Olivia quietly stepped into the hallway. The penthouse was dark except for the city lights pouring through enormous windows. Everything was silent. Then she heard laughter. Olivia stopped. The sound came from Ethan's office. Her forehead creased. Was he still awake? More laughter drifted into the hallway. A man's voice. Ethan's voice. Then another voice, a woman's voice. Olivia frowned. Something felt strange. Her heartbeat quickened slightly as she stepped closer. The office door wasn't fully closed. A narrow beam of light spilled into the hallway. She moved carefully until she could hear them clearly. Then Ethan spoke. "I still can't believe she's actually falling for all of this." Olivia froze. The woman laughed. The sound made Olivia's blood run cold. She knew that laugh. "You make it sound so terrible," the woman teased. Ethan chuckled. "Come on, Sam, you know exactly what I mean. Samantha." Olivia's entire body locked in place. For a second, her brain refused to process what she had heard. Samantha? No, impossible. Inside the office, neither of them knew she was standing there. "Do you think she'll ever figure it out?" Samantha asked. Ethan laughed again. "Olivia? Not a chance. She's too trusting." Olivia's stomach dropped. Her hand instinctively pressed against the wall for support. Every muscle in her body felt numb. Ethan continued casually. "Honestly, that's one of the reasons she's perfect." Samantha giggled softly. "You're terrible." "Maybe," Ethan replied, "but I'm not wrong." The sound of a kiss echoed through the room. Olivia felt something inside her break. Not crack, break completely. She could barely breathe. "What happens after the wedding?" Samantha asked. Ethan paused. Olivia heard ice clink inside a glass. "Same plan we've always had. She signs the prenup. We stay married long enough to maintain appearances. Then eventually I leave." Olivia's vision blurred instantly. Tears filled her eyes. Samantha laughed. "And she'll never see it coming." "Exactly." Ethan sounded amused, relaxed, comfortable, like they were discussing weekend plans. "She thinks she's marrying Prince Charming. More laughter, more kissing, more lies." "Honestly," Ethan continued, "she's basically an investment at this point. Beautiful wife, great reputation, perfect image. She helps my business, that's all that matters. Investment." The word slammed into Olivia's chest. Investment, not fiancé, not future wife, not mother of his child. Investment. Olivia wanted to scream, wanted to burst through the door and confront them, wanted answers, explanations, anything. Instead, she forced herself to remain silent. Somehow she managed to back away, one step at a time, slowly, quietly, until she reached the bedroom. The second the door closed behind her, her legs gave out. She collapsed onto the floor. Tears exploded from her eyes. Her entire body shook violently. She couldn't stop crying, couldn't stop replaying every word, every laugh, every kiss. Ethan, Samantha. The two people she trusted most had destroyed her life in less than 5 minutes. Her hand drifted protectively to her stomach. Fresh tears poured down her face. Their baby, her baby. What kind of man could smile at her every day while secretly planning her destruction? What kind of friend could stand beside her as maid of honor while sleeping with her fiancé? The questions came endlessly, one after another. For nearly an hour, she sat on the floor crying until her eyes burned. Eventually, the tears slowed, then stopped, not because the pain disappeared, because something else slowly took its place. Anger. Cold, sharp, focused anger. Ethan thought she was weak. Samantha thought she was blind. Both of them believed she would shatter if she ever discovered the truth. Olivia stood slowly and approached. The woman staring back looked different, hurt, broken, but not defeated. She could leave. She could cancel the wedding. She could disappear before sunrise. But suddenly that felt wrong. Too easy. Ethan wanted the perfect wedding. Ethan wanted admiration. Ethan wanted applause. Ethan wanted an audience. A slow smile appeared on Olivia's face. Fine. She would give him exactly what he wanted. Then she would take it away. One name immediately entered her mind. Ryan Cole. Ethan's younger brother. The only member of the family who had always treated her like a person instead of an accessory. The only one she trusted. Her fingers trembled slightly as she grabbed her phone. It was almost 1 in the morning. She didn't care. She found Ryan's contact and pressed call. The phone rang twice, then a sleepy voice answered. Olivia, concern immediately replaced exhaustion. What's wrong? Olivia's clothes broke down again. Then she forced herself to stay strong. Ryan, she whispered, I need your help. Silence. Then his voice became serious. What happened? Olivia looked toward the closed bedroom door. Somewhere beyond it, Ethan and Samantha were probably still together, still laughing, still believing they had fooled her completely. A cold smile touched her lips. Everything changed tonight, she said quietly. And I think your brother just made the biggest mistake of his life. Ryan arrived 23 minutes later. Olivia was sitting at the kitchen island, staring at a cold cup of coffee when he walked through the apartment door. One look at her face told him everything he needed to know. The color drained from his face instantly. Olivia, he said quietly. What happened? Without speaking, she slid her phone across the counter. Ryan pressed play. For several minutes, the only sound inside the apartment was Ethan's voice and Samantha's laughter. Ryan listened without interrupting. His expression darkened with every second. By the time the recording ended, his jaw was clenched so tightly a muscle twitched beneath his cheek. That son of a bitch. Olivia nodded slowly. Now you know. Ryan stared at the countertop for several seconds before looking up. What are you going to do? Olivia took a deep breath. The wedding stays on. Ryan blinked. The wedding stays on. Her voice was calm now, controlled. Ethan wants the perfect wedding. He wants everyone watching. He wants admiration. He wants applause. A cold smile appeared. I'm going to give him all of that. Understanding slowly spread across Ryan's face. Then came a grin. And then? Olivia looked directly at him. Then I'm going to destroy him. For the first time that night, Ryan smiled. Good. Over the next 5 days, Olivia became the greatest actress of her life. Every smile was fake. Every kiss felt like poison. Every conversation required incredible self-control. Yet Ethan suspected nothing. If anything, he seemed happier than ever. More confident, more relaxed, more certain of his victory. He kissed her forehead every morning, wrapped his arm around her at family dinners, talked excitedly about their future. Each lie made Olivia stronger. Meanwhile, Ryan worked quietly behind the scenes. He gathered evidence, screenshots, hotel reservations, text messages, photos, voice recordings, financial records. The deeper they looked, the worse it became. Ethan hadn't just cheated with Samantha. There had been others, plenty of others. Years of lies hidden behind a polished smile and expensive suits. By the 4th day, Ryan had assembled enough evidence to completely destroy Ethan's reputation. Samantha remained blissfully unaware. She attended bridal appointments, helped organize decorations, gave emotional speeches about friendship and loyalty. Sometimes Olivia almost admired the performance. Almost. The night before the wedding, Olivia sat alone inside her luxury hotel suite, staring at the evidence folder one final time. Her phone buzzed. Ethan. She stared at the screen for several seconds before answering. Hey, beautiful, Ethan said warmly. The sound of his voice no longer made her heart race. It made her sick. Hey, nervous? Olivia smiled faintly. A little. Ethan chuckled. Don't be. Tomorrow is going to be perfect. Olivia glanced at the folder beside her. Hundreds of pages. Hundreds of lies. You're right. I love you. 3 words. So easy. So effortless. So fake. Olivia closed her eyes. Then she ended the call. The next morning dawned bright and cloudless. The church looked like something from a fairy tale. White roses lined the aisle. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead. Hundreds of guests filled the pews. Business executives, family members, friends. Everyone had gathered to celebrate the perfect couple. Upstairs in the bridal suite, Samantha stood behind Olivia adjusting her veil. The irony was almost unbearable. You okay? Samantha asked. Olivia smiled softly. Never better. Samantha smiled back. Good. Today is your day. Olivia met her eyes in the mirror. Trust me, she said quietly. It really is. An hour later, the church doors opened. Every head turned. A collective murmur swept through the crowd as Olivia appeared at the end of the aisle. She looked breathtaking. Ethan's smile widened immediately. Standing at the altar in his custom-tailored tuxedo, he looked like a man who believed he had already won. Slowly, Olivia walked toward him. Every step felt lighter than the one before. Cameras flashed. Guests smiled. Some wiped tears from their eyes. Ethan never looked away from her. By the time she reached the altar, confidence practically radiated from him. You look incredible, he whispered. Olivia smiled sweetly. Thank you. The ceremony began. The pastor members beamed proudly. Everything unfolded exactly as Ethan had planned. Perfect, elegant, beautiful. Then came the vows. The pastor turned toward Ethan. Do you, Ethan Cole, take Olivia Hart to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do, Ethan answered immediately. Applause echoed softly through the church. Then the pastor turned toward Olivia. And do you, Olivia Hart, take Ethan Cole to be your lawfully wedded husband? Silence. Olivia didn't answer. Ethan's smile flickered slightly. The pastor blinked. Olivia? Slowly she reached beneath her bouquet and produced a small remote control. Ethan frowned. Olivia? She looked directly into his eyes. For the first time in 6 days, she stopped pretending. The love vanished. The warmth disappeared. Ethan's confidence evaporated instantly. Actually, Olivia said calmly, her voice carrying throughout the church. Before I answer, I think everyone deserves to know exactly who they're celebrating today. The giant screen behind the altar flickered to life. Confused murmurs spread across the room. Then the first photograph appeared. Ethan kissing Samantha inside a hotel lobby. Gasps erupted immediately. Ethan's face drained of color. What the hell? Another photo appeared, then another. Hotel rooms, restaurants, secret meetings, hidden embraces. The church exploded with whispers. Samantha looked like she might faint. Then came the text messages, screenshots fulfilled of words, undeniable proof. Messages mocking Olivia, messages discussing the affair, messages describing their plans after the wedding. The room fell silent. Then came the recording. Ethan's own voice echoed through the church speakers. She's basically an investment at this point. Beautiful wife, great reputation, perfect image. Complete silence followed, the kind of silence that only exists after a bomb explodes. Ethan looked terrified, truly terrified. Olivia, listen to me. No. Her voice sliced through his instantly. You've done enough talking. Samantha burst into tears. Ethan's parents looked horrified. Business associates exchanged uncomfortable glances. Phones appeared throughout the crowd. Videos started recording. Everything Ethan had spent years building was collapsing in real time. You lied to me. Olivia's voice remained calm. You cheated on me. You manipulated me. You planned to use me. She paused, then smiled. And the entire time you thought I was too stupid to notice. Ethan opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Oh, Olivia said. And there's one more thing. Olivia rested a hand gently on her stomach. I'm pregnant. Shock rippled through the crowd. Ethan's eyes widened. For one brief second, hope appeared on his face. Then Olivia destroyed it. My child will never grow up believing this is what love looks like. Ethan looked physically ill. Around him, his entire world continued collapsing. His mother was crying. His father looked disgusted. Several business partners quietly stood and walked toward the exit. Samantha reached for Ethan's arm. He instinctively pulled away. Even now, he was thinking only about himself. Then Ryan stood from the front row. Every eye turned toward him. You know what's funny? He said loudly. You spent your entire life treating people like they were disposable. He looked directly at his brother. Turns out you were the disposable one. Ethan snapped. With a roar of rage, he lunged toward Ryan. The movement was reckless, desperate. Ryan sidestepped effortlessly. Ethan stumbled and crashed directly into a flower arrangement beside the altar. Gasps echoed throughout the church. Humiliation flooded his face. Then his father stood. Enough. Ethan froze. Dad. Don't. The older man's voice was ice cold. You have embarrassed this family. You have disgraced yourself. Ethan looked desperate, truly desperate. Dad, please, get out. The words landed like a hammer. What? Get out. His father pointed toward the church doors. Now. Nobody defended him. Nobody moved. Nobody helped. For the first time in his life, Ethan stood completely alone. Samantha tried to follow him. Several guests blocked her path with cold stares. The woman who had once been Olivia's closest friend suddenly found herself unwelcome everywhere she looked. Within minutes, both of them were gone. The church doors slammed shut behind them. Silence followed. Then the pastor cleared his throat awkwardly. A nervous laugh escaped someone in the audience. Then another. The tension slowly broke. Olivia finally exhaled. It was over. The lies, the betrayal, the pretending, all of it, over. Ryan approached quietly. You okay? Olivia looked around the church, around the people who had just witnessed the destruction of a man who believed he was untouchable. Then she smiled, a real smile, the first genuine smile she had felt in nearly a week. Yeah. Ryan nodded. Good. Together they walked down the aisle outside. Sunlight flooded the church steps. Reporters were already arriving. Phones were ringing. Social media was exploding. Ethan's perfect life had lasted exactly 41 minutes into his wedding day. Over the following weeks, the fallout became impossible to stop. The affair story spread everywhere. Business partners abandoned Ethan. Clients withdrew contracts. Investors backed away. The company he had spent years building began collapsing around him. Samantha didn't fare much better. Friends disappeared. Invitations stopped coming. The people who once praised her loyalty now knew exactly what she was. Neither of them had expected consequences. Now consequences were all they had left. Olivia watched it happen from a distance. She didn't celebrate. She didn't gloat. She simply moved forward. 1 month later, she stood on the balcony of her new apartment overlooking Lake Michigan. A hand rested gently over her growing stomach. The evening breeze moved through her hair. Her phone buzzed. A message from Ryan. "How are you and the little one doing?" Olivia smiled, better than ever. She typed back, then paused. Looking out across the water, she realized something important. Ethan had stolen her trust, Samantha had stolen her friendship, but neither of them had stolen her future. In a strange way, they had given her something priceless, the truth. If she had never discovered the affair, she might have spent years trapped inside a marriage built entirely on lies. Instead, she was free. Free to build a better future. Free to become the mother she wanted to be. Free to create a life based on honesty instead of illusion. The sun slowly disappeared beyond the horizon. Golden light reflected across the lake. Olivia smiled as she felt a small flutter beneath her hand. Her baby, her future, her second chance. Some betrayals break your heart, others reveal your strength. And sometimes the worst day of your life becomes the day your real story finally begins.